Hi, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric, and I thought today we would talk about, you know, you guys out there that have shops like me, and you guys that are looking at getting into it. And I also want to add to the mix the lawn care service guys, because, they're going to be affected by it as well. And that is going green. See, here in New York State, our governor wants everything green. They want to outlaw propane, wood stoves, pellet stoves. They want everything electric by a certain time. And I just don't see it achievable. To me, it's one of those things of where you get a group of people inside this bubble, and we'll call them politicians, and they lack any common sense. But they're quick to dictate to us that are outside the bubble what they think should be good and bad. To me, I'm kind of like, what the hell? If someone's going to tell me that I can't have a propane gas stove in my house anymore, or that I can't run propane fired furnace to keep me warm in the wintertime, or here at the shop, we have a wood burning stove plus propane for heat. I don't see it achievable. They're making it so that it's illegal to have them, is what they're doing. They're outlawing them. So how does this affect the shops? Like you and I, and the lawn care guys that are out there in the field. That's their bread and butter. What's going to happen when you can't have any gas-powered, diesel-powered, equipment? As shop owners, do we start moving over to the sales? Because there's no service on a battery operated unit. It's throwaway. They're not fixable. They're not worth being fixable. As so many of you have mentioned in one of my other videos, the demise of the sponge repair shop. And thank you guys so much for watching that video, and for the guys that commented, and you folks that liked, and you guys that subscribed. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. That showed me that they're more than just me thinking this kind of crap. It's just, I thought maybe I was the only one going loony. But it's a general trend, all over the U.S. And you guys that are in the U.K., and England, you guys are hitting the same headwind. They're forcing us to have to do things, while these so-called developing countries are pumping all this coal-fired, and it's crazy. And I would think if they were really serious about long-lasting power, nuclear power has always been a staple. Did they have an accident here, Chernobyl? Yes. But it's few and far between, and they have a long duration where they keep producing power through steam from heat coming off the rods that are inside the reactor. And it's a great read if you ever get a chance on how a nuclear fusion works. So if they were really serious about it, we would be nuclear, and that would eliminate a lot of these electrical issues like the solar and wind, and save the country. And I mentioned before that, like with these wind farms, these wind farms popping up, the only way they can make a profit at it is because they're getting grants. They're getting rebates, from the U.S. government. Our government is taking our money and giving them rebates to put each one of them up. if they had to put them up and wait for the profits to come in from their own business, like you and I, they wouldn't make squat, because the equipment wears out faster than what it can get to the point of where it's profitable. And while I'm on the subject of these wind farms, we just saw just recently a lot of these whales coming up onto the shore. And there's been a lot of talk about these wind farms are causing a noise that is pushing these whales away and up onto the shore to die. And when I was growing up, we had Greenpeace. I mean, they were classified as terrorists. They chased these boats around, the whale boats and stuff. Where is Save the Whale Group today? Well, if you look, these big wind farm companies are donating to these different nonprofits that say that their only interest is saving the whales is crap, because they got bought out. They got a donation and they don't care now. They got their money. That's all they wanted, was their money. But I think we need to take a closer look at that, of how is this affecting us, our country, our planet. So if you're going to go green, let's say you're forced into it. Let's say it's happened. What do we as shop owners, what do we got to change to adjust to that? I mean, even in today's market, most equipment, your lawnmowers, your push mowers, your weed eaters, your riders, all that stuff, it's got a shelf life of just so long. And when I say a shelf life, not in your shop, but I mean when the consumer buys it, if they can get a couple years out of it, that's great. They throw it away and go get another one. And it's kind of like the same thing with the lead batteries. I mean, I can remember when we used to get lead batteries, for our vehicles and stuff, and it would last for 8 to 10 years. Now with these recyclable batteries, we're lucky if we can get a year out of it for these lawnmowers that, from just one season to the next. And we've tried everything. We've tried removing the battery and bringing it in where it's warm. We've tried putting it on trickle charge, maintaining it for long periods of time. And we're still getting the same issues, that the batteries aren't holding up. Same thing is going to hold true for the lithium ion that most of us are using it today. Now, there's a lot of good there, especially in the handhelds. Like with us as a shop owner and me, mechanical side, I use DeWalt. I love my DeWalt 20 volt, and we've got the impact, we've got the drill. I mean, there's so many attachments that you can get for it. And I've got it set up so I have 2 chargers and I have 4 batteries, so I just keep swapping them out. But a number of you have already posted, which is 100% correct. If you wanted to go out and get a spare battery for one of those, it's cheaper to go buy the whole thing with the battery than it is to try to buy the battery separately. So if the battery goes to heck, what are you going to do? You're going to go out and buy new. So now you got 2 of the same tool because you needed the battery for the one. Can I see it happening like with the chainsaws? Like loggers running a battery pack on their chainsaw. I don't see it. I don't see where they last long enough with heavy use. Same thing with the weed whackers, weed eaters. I can see it for some of these folks, because we've had the electric you plug in for years, and they're cheaply made. If you start doing any kind of weed eating, I've seen so many units come in where the whole bottom is just melted plastic together because it got so hot. But I could see it if you had like 3 to 5 minutes of weed eating around after you had your yard mowed. That's fine. But for the commercial guys, the landscapers, it's not going to cut it. Same thing with blowers, backpack blowers. Same thing with the walk behind zero turns or the zero turn mowers. They've got one right now that I saw at Tractor Supply. It's a 42-inch cut. It's a solid green, go green, battery operated unit. And they want $4,400 for it. What happens if the battery goes bad on that? I mean, I took a close look at it and I said, well, I could still get blades for it. I could still change the blades, sharpen the blades. But other than that, maybe fixing body parts, interchanging. But when it comes to the engine, if it's battery operated, not so good. So in the comment section, let me know what you guys are, which way you're going. Because, you can't put all your eggs in one basket anyways, no matter what business you're in. You got to kind of diversify a little bit. And you got to keep your head up so that you can see sometimes what's blowing in the wind, what's written on the wall here of the changes coming our way. They try to do it little by little, or in our case in New York, they do it in the dead of night, big chunks, and then we're stuck with it. I don't see it happening so much in my lifetime, but what about you guys that are trying to get in? Post your stuff in the comments. Thanks so much for watching.